All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be breaking down the 5-game slate that we have for the main slate on Saturday. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, yes, guys, I am only going to be breaking down the 5-game slate that we have for more of the evening slate on Saturday. That being said, I did kind of a deep dive of what I'm going to be looking at for the prop bets for the early slate. If you guys want to take a peek at that, you guys will be able to get some of the top DFS plays for that slate as well. I'll be putting that out in a 9 to 5 write-up as well tomorrow morning, about 2 hours before lineup lock. But because it's more of a small slate, I didn't want to come out with the video, or else it's just not as worthwhile if everyone gets the benefit from it. Whereas this slate is going to be big enough, this 5-game slate, to the point where I can cover it and we can still get different as well. I'll lose a little bit of an edge by putting out this video, but not a massive one like I would for a smaller slate on the early slate. I think you guys get it. But looking at the slate that we have for the evening slate, in terms of games that I want to call it, this Chargers game where they're 6.5-point favorites, obviously we're probably chasing more of their DST going against the Rams, but as we know, the Rams are basically a soft spot for preseason NFL DFS, so it's always an interesting balancing act. So that'll be a weird spot, but all the other games are pretty much close. We are going to notice the Dallas versus Ravens game is kind of low scoring compared to all the other games as well, so obviously we'll factor that in a little bit as well. But let's go ahead and get into the game-by-game breakdown, guys, starting out with Baltimore. So very interesting spot here with Baltimore, where Cooper Rush really did not play that much in the first preseason game, to the point where Devin Leary ended up playing a bunch, which was not good for the offense. He looked terrible. He was not good. I kind of expect him to play again, though, but maybe they need Cooper Rush to play to really get a good look at the other offensive weapons. Okay, if Leary's going to play a bunch, I think Dallas DST becomes a team that we are looking at. Now, running back wise, as we know, the Baltimore Ravens tend to rush the football a bunch. This is typically a very good spot for us to get to. Now, I do want to call it Keaton Mitchell and Alley are both banged up in this game, which means the running back that we couldn't play last week is going to be a running back play that we're probably going to be on a bunch in this game. So Johnson ended up having a pretty massive game last week, where he ended up being signed and playing 43 snaps in that game, 33 snaps in that game, which obviously ended up being a bunch. And he obviously becomes a play then, especially if one or two of those players are out, then we're just looking at him a bunch, okay? Because that's the type of player that John Harbaugh likes to run into the ground. Receiver-wise, there was one receiver that didn't do much last week, but did play a bunch of snaps. Worth calling out, Des Walker. He was a player I was on a bunch, 43 snaps in that game. Insane amount. He was hindered, though, by the quarterback play of Devin Leary. And then tight end-wise as well, guys. Kind of annoying. Mitchell Patton played a bunch of snaps, guys. 33 snaps in that game. Again, he was hindered very much by Devin Leary. A little bit annoying there, but he's going to be someone we can look at there as well. We jump into Dallas, and I do think it's worth calling out. We're getting a pretty massive passing yard line for Joe Milton, guys. 141.5, which to me seems pretty egregiously high. Like, he is probably going to play the full game, okay? But he really has not played well. I shouldn't say that. He hasn't played great. And I shouldn't even say that. I would say that. He's played good. He's played fair, but he hasn't played great. Let's just put that. Anyways, obviously, if he's going to be projected to throw for 140 yards, as well as he's someone that rushes the football bunch, we're obviously going to want to look to him as a play. Now, running back wise, this becomes interesting because last week, guys, Phil Maffa played a bunch. Now, he wasn't productive in that, but he did get enough carries in that game as well. Played in 34 snaps, and although someone like Malik Davis played really well, be interested to see if he gets any more work. I still think Phil Maffa is actually going to be someone we want to look at, but I don't think we want to play him with Joe Milton as well. Now, receiver-wise, there is one standout play to me. Again, it was kind of annoying last week, guys. Ryan Flournoy ended up being someone that got targeted a bunch, had a bunch of air yards as well. Milton kind of missed him on a deep throw as well. But maybe that could be a blessing in disguise, okay? Maybe some people are not going to be on him as much because he did not have a massive game last week, guys. He had 5 targets still, had 32 snaps played as well. And again, I do think he makes for a great play in stacks with Joe Milton. Now, Jalen Brooks was also the third highest receiver snap getter in that game. If he's out, that does create for obviously more opportunity, probably just for Flournoy, but maybe Cropper gets mixed in there, maybe Mingo a little bit more. We'll see. And then tight end wise, got to be on the lookout for this. So Stevens Jr. was someone that was kind of just randomly a DNP in the last game, to the point where Fairweather ended up getting a bunch of work in the game, 31 snaps in that game. We just need to be on the lookout for this, because if Ferguson and Spanford are out, and then maybe as well as Stevens Jr., then we're probably looking at Fairweather a decent amount, but I still think Jr. could end up being a good play for us. So from there, let's go ahead and get into the Bucs versus Steelers here, guys. Really, the only play I want to touch on is Owen Wright. Okay, Owen Wright was someone, again, I wish we could have played on the last slate. We were unable to because he was a late add to the Bucs, but it just made sense for him to get a bunch of work in that game. So he ended up playing 31 snaps, ended up getting 18 carries and 3 targets as well in that game. Owen Wright is probably going to be a play that a lot of people aren't going to get to, simply because they're probably just going to be playing Sean Tucker, who really looked good, guys. You got White a little bit banged up as well, which actually worries me a little bit about Sean Tucker. The offensive coordinator is already saying that they want to get Sean Tucker more involved throughout the season, and he is someone that ended up getting 13 opportunities in that game, 13 carries in that game. Looked good doing that. Played 26 snaps as well. He's just better than the players on the field. Like, I think this is like a good thought process. Like, if he was on the Dallas Cowboys, if he was simply on the Dallas Cowboys, would he be like an 8th round pick, a 7th round pick in fantasy football drafts? Like, I really think maybe whatever. We'd be taking him where like Junkins is going, where Travis Etienne is going. Like, that's where we'd be taking him. He is that talent. Okay. And so I just think it's a better bet on Wright to get more work, and Tucker to maybe see a slight decrease in his role as well. Now, we are getting some decent receiver plays in this game as well here for the Bucs. You could potentially play Kyle Trask. It will be interesting to see how much work he gets. I would expect him to get a bunch of work in this game. They did sign Teddy Bridgewater, but just how much would Teddy Bridgewater play? So we are going to get some stacking opportunities here. Okay, they are still pretty banged up at the receiver spot. 2 players that really stood out to me on film watching this was Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller was a receiver that was able to get a couple of manufactured touches in that game, so like 2 short screens for him. Really looked really good. Looks really solid. Had 7 targets in that game as well, 33 snaps in that game, and I do think it makes sense for those snaps to continue for him. Now, from there, I do want to call out Raheem Jarrett as well. Jarrett played 35 snaps in that game, but he wasn't all too productive, only 2 targets, 18 yards in that game. It wouldn't be surprising for them to maybe give him a few manufactured touches in this game. Now, another player that actually really stood out to me, I actually thought it was Ryan Miller, was Garrett Green. I would love to see him get a little bit more snaps in this game. Had a decent amount still, like 27, only 2 targets though, but what he did with those 2 targets was pretty impressive to me. So some stacking opportunities there with Kyle Trask there. Now, Pittsburgh, I do want to call it another quarterback line that we're getting. So Skylar Thompson, you're going to see his passing yard line is at 132.5. And for me, that basically tells me that Mason Rudolph is not going to play in this game. We're probably going to see a lot of Skylar Thompson again as well. Now, I will say the toughest part about Skylar Thompson as a play is the fact that I don't really love any of the receivers that we're going to be playing him with, nor do I love any of the tight ends that we'd be playing him with as well. In the write-up, I casually tossed in there, which was accurate. We could stack Mason Rudolph with Washington. That's stacking it up, working out. But Rudolph didn't play that much. Washington didn't play that much. It kind of just seems like a stay away spot. Maybe you could run a solo Skylar Thompson out. I guess I'd be okay with that. And the whole point of that is I think we got safer receiver plays that we could play. Maybe Skylar Thompson with one of the tight ends. But even that doesn't seem worthwhile to me. So let's go ahead and jump on into the next game. Really, I'm not seeing that much for the Jets. Maybe you guys could find a tight end play for me. They are pretty limited here. Runkert is probably the one that makes the most sense, but not much there for me receiver-wise as well. Running back-wise, not much there for me as well. So let's just move on into the Giants. So the Giants are in an interesting situation where they got a really good 4th-ish string running back, Dante Miller. And he just looks good. He's looked good every preseason thus far, guys. Last week just went off for over 100 total yards in that game. And he played a bunch of snaps as well. Ended up playing 39 snaps as well. My issue with him is he's kind of the clear running back play again this week. I kind of just worry that he's going to end up being too chalky. And we are getting some other running back plays that we could potentially be on. Now, for a receiver, there's not much there for me as well, tight end wise. I don't see the point in getting to some of those plays. So let's go ahead and jump on into the easy preseason spot for us each and every year, the LA Rams. So last week we kind of nailed the spots that we wanted to be on. I do think they're going to be a little bit bigger edges here. to the point where I don't necessarily want to break down all of them. Honestly, I kind of want to keep those close to the chest here for the write-up just to see. But I don't think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to give it to you guys. So, like Stenson Bennett, we know he's kind of clearly the best play here. Okay, I don't think we're expecting Jimmy G to play. We're not. And so we're going to just expect Bennett to continue to play basically the full game. And if we go ahead and pull up his lines that we're getting for say like Underdog, Prize Picks is not giving us those lines, but he's at 135.5. And if he ends up playing the full game like he did last week and like he has done throughout the preseason, that line's too low, honestly. So maybe you're someone that's playing props, bets there. They are 6.5 point dogs, which points to obviously more of a pass heavy script as well. So yeah, I don't mind that spot there for Bennett. He is someone that can rush the football a little bit as well for DFS purposes. So I don't know. I see Bennett more as a top quarterback play, again, especially because he's easy to stack in this game as well. So I think, again, the top receiver play, even though it didn't exactly work out, is going to be Mumfield. The air yards were there for him, guys. He ended up with 5 targets, had the most snaps on the team as well. He's going to be a clear option for us there. And then it does become more difficult there. You got Covey still there. I don't see Xavier Smith playing as much snaps as he did in week 1. It's kind of the tendency that we see there from the Rams. Drake Stoops is listed as out. He's probably going to be active in this game, just as an FYI. Britton Covey is kind of the other de facto decent play as well. You still have Williams as well, another decent play. Like, to me, it's Mumfield, and then it's just kind of a guessing game between Covey, Stoops, Williams, and also Presley as well. You could toss in there as well. So that's kind of the difficult part, is we're probably just playing 2 Rams receivers, and for the most part, it's going to be Mumfield. And then tight end wise, for what it's worth, guys, Torres ended up getting banged up in that game. And so I actually think we're going to end up seeing a lot of Mark Redmond. So they split the tight end snaps. They both played about 26 in that game. Redmond's not known for being a big receiving threat, but worth calling it out. Like, probably going to get a bunch of work as well. And this is a weird slate. Like, I don't really like the tight ends that much on this slate, whereas on Friday night, I wouldn't say I like them either, but I like them more. We had a few options for them. I could see it. This one's like, it's ugly. So we'll see. Might end up with Redmond, and I won't like it that much. Now, for the Chargers, it is worth calling out here, guys. Trey Lance, a little bit banged up right now. He should be good to go, though. It's just a matter of how much will he play then, if he is a little bit banged up. That's my biggest question. And I should go back to the Rams real quick as well. Ryan Rivers got a little bit banged up in that game. The best running back in that game was actually Cody Schrader. Just played like 8 snaps. I think it was 11 actually, but dominated in those snaps that he played. Literally, he looked better than Corum has ever looked, and Hunter really didn't look that good as well, but Hunter should get a bunch of work. That's kind of my assumption, but I think Schrader has to get more work now as well. So kind of interesting there. I don't think we're going to see Blake Corum in this game. It would be shocking to me. He played well enough. He played much better than Hunter. Just don't expect it. But yeah, getting into the Chargers now. Kind of passing on the running backs. They're all blah to me. Lambert Smith is someone I do expect to play a decent amount in this game. So the question going into week 2 was, had he shown enough both in practice and on game film? He got a lot of hype in practice, and then we saw game film wise, he looked really good. Last week was fine, but played about 27 snaps in that game. I kind of expect him to continue to get work as well. So not a terrible click, but that's really it for the Chargers. So let's go ahead and move on into the evening game. Interesting spot, I will say, quarterback-wise. This could be a big edge spot. It's a little bit risky, but like the starters are not expected to play in this game at all. To me, how much will Jacoby Brissett play? I think Clayton Tune could end up being an option like we're looking at with Milton, like we're looking at with Bennett, and like we're looking at with Skylar Thompson, where he's going to play a bunch of snaps, and I don't think many people are going to be prepared for that. He is something that we have seen play in the preseason before. I thought his rookie year looked trash, looked terrible, shouldn't have been in the league. Last year, not so bad. And so he is a quarterback that can rush the football as well. I kind of expect him to, if he's playing, I think he could actually be serviceable for us. And I casually like a decent stack with a player like Xavier Weaver, the former Colorado receiver, was a rookie last year, popped in the preseason a little bit last year. You know, he ended up with 30 snaps in that game. Most of those were with Clayton Tune, 4 total targets in that game as well. So a decent little stacking opportunity. And then for Denver, guys, I mean, Pat Bryant's really it. I don't think we're going to see much, though. I feel like it's a decent guessing game there as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at lineup-wise right now. And I should say, with the Broncos starters not expected to play, Stidham is someone that could play like a full half and could end up playing extremely well. That wouldn't be too crazy as well. So if we go ahead and take a peek at kind of the 9 to 5 lineup builder here for you guys for the slate, I'm just kind of running it. I just want to see kind of what it's producing for us and see if I like it. And obviously this will change as the day progresses and we get more lines coming in, but casually like some of the lines or some of the builds that we're getting, but don't love all of them. But it is touching on most of the plays that I called out. So kind of on par with what I called out, but also I think if people are just purely going off of props, which is what that basically is working off of, they're not going to be as successful. So I do think that creates a decent edge. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. And like the video, obviously subscribe to the channel. Again, if you guys are a 9 to 5 member, I will be putting out the early slate write-up probably 2 hours before lineup lock for the early slate, and then I will basically be working on the evening slate basically right after that, or right after lineup lock for the early slate as well. Just as an FYI, if anyone was wondering, if you guys would like access to that write-up, you guys can head on over to 9to5sports.com, get access to that write-up, as well as the NFL DFS optimizer like I just showed you, as well as all the other tools that are available on 9to5sports.com. Those are all available for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. Take advantage of that. And thank you for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.